to build up the necessary forces. In Iraq in 2003, Franks has very little time. But he does have one for years. So a pool of some of the best special ops units in the world is already in place. The U.S. Special Operations Group, the British SAS and SBS, and other coalition forces have been honing their skills for years. In both cases, in World War II and Gulf War II, it's time for the next stage in the battle plan for special operations. Insertion. Special operations are so secret, planners must ensure that insertion does not give the game away. From their inception, British and American special forces share the same philosophy on insertion. They must be able to approach their target by any means necessary. By land, when the British SAS was founded in the deserts of North Africa in 1941, their first technique was to be taken to a suitable distance from their targets by jeep. Then, they walked in. Later, they also used heavily armed jeeps to raid airfields and shoot up enemy planes. In Gulf War I, British and U.S. Special Operations units also inserted behind the lines by land, using specially designed jeeps. By sea, using inflatables or special canoes from submarines. By air, part of the initial concept behind the British SAS was insertion by parachute. Modern special forces have developed a range of methods from ultra-high to ultra-low levels. Special force insertion is also increasingly by helicopter. England, 1943. An unmarked car slips quietly onto a secret airfield. Inside is a woman agent about to be inserted into occupied France. Some agents parachute in. Others are taken in by light plane or boat. Iraq, 2003. Coalition Special Operations personnel move in by land and air. Other squads practice seaborne assaults on oil terminals in the south. It's classic special operations. France, 1941. The civilian special ops agents have 3 years to organize, arm, and train the French resistance, if they can stay alive that long. In Iraq, time is the one luxury Coalition Commander U.S. General Tommy Franks does not have. He's just completely revised his entire battle plan. The moment when he'll have to push the go button and send his forces into action is closing fast. In Europe, from 1941, agents are being secretly inserted into occupied France to pave the way for the D-Day invasion. In Iraq in 2003, U.S. General Tommy Franks is finalizing his plans to oust Saddam Hussein from power. Whether it comes in weeks or years, the next factor in the battle plan for special operations will be critical. Execution. When the moment for action arrives, it must be carried out faultlessly. In France, the Allied agents preparing the resistance have no idea when the invasion will come or how long they'll be living underground, just one step ahead of the Gestapo that's hunting them down. The Germans use tracking devices to detect radios transmitting back to London. Networks are penetrated. Loyalties betrayed.
Danger came not only from the Gestapo and the other German occupation authorities, but from the competition that existed between the various factions of the French resistance. Betrayal was a constant danger, and the consequences could be dire.
Agents disappear into Gestapo headquarters in Paris and Lyon. Then, if they survive, into concentration camps.
They were facing one of the most ruthless forces on record. and they knew the consequences of being captured were to either be tortured to death or shot on sight.
But gradually the networks are built up. Gradually the resistance is armed and equipped and waiting. 2003, special operations teams begin to infiltrate across Iraq's borders to send back intelligence or identify targets. In the Kurdish areas, the teams already working there are reinforced. They come with dazzling new technology, brand new ground mobility vehicles, GMVs, oversized and modified Humvees with massive firepower and mobility, war pigs to resupply them in the middle of battle, Javelin missiles, lethal against vehicles, and crucially, Saddam's armor. And they can call in precision strikes from formidable air power. Most coalition warplanes now carry weapons guided by laser or the Global Positioning System, GPS. Even so-called dumb bombs can be guided within a few feet of their target.
As a result, we get a devastating combined effect. By itself, the airplane can't find the target. By itself, the team is too small to attack the target. Put the two together with the ground person lasing for the aircraft, and you get a devastating impact on the target.
But there's something else which marks this as a crossroads and breakthrough in special operations.
The role of special operations in North Iraq developed the role of the special forces. No longer were they just supporting troops. They were a vanguard, striking a blow at the enemy, trailblazing a new string to their bow.
This is the crucial factor that allows Tommy Franks to rewrite his special operations battle plan so swiftly.
There is no doubt about that.
March 2003. The 4th Infantry Division, which Franks wanted to use in northern Iraq before Turkey closed the door, is still en route to its new position in the south. Military experts all say that in order to hit the start button for war, Franks must wait until it is in position. Franks hopes the Iraqis are listening, because it's not true. The 2nd and 3rd Battalions from 10th Special Forces leave their holding base in Europe and begin their insertion into northern Iraq.
They would be loaded onto a C-17 or C-130 cargo aircraft with their vehicles and equipment, flown down through the western Mediterranean, up through Jordan and western Iraq, to land at an airfield in northern Iraq. Then they would roll off, meet up with their Peshmerga counterparts, and roll into battle.
The 3rd Battalion, 3rd Special Forces is poised at an undisclosed holding base in the Mediterranean. 60 years earlier, Europe in June 1944. As the D-Day clock counts down, the men and women of the resistance and Allied special operations, after 3 dangerous years in Nazi-occupied France, also await the signal for action. Their activities will be coordinated by Jedbras, 2- or 3-man teams made up of SOE or OSS personnel. The British SAS have been pulled back from Italy to recruit, train, and prepare for D-Day. June 5th, 1944, the day before D-Day, and March 19th, 2003, the day before Operation Iraqi Freedom. Time to see if the objectives can be achieved. Time for action.